Welcome back, everyone, wherever you're watching from. The 172nd Mitsubishi Zero. This is the A6M2b, nice little Airfix kit. I'm a real fanboy of these Airfix kits. The cheap ones, they're very inexpensive. They're about $20 Australian. I guess what's that? 10 US, 10 pounds, whatever. Uh, Affordable, and they're great for adding your own customization, finishing touches to. You can really make these your own. In this case, I've already jumped in here and I'm upgrading the flight stick. Just one of those interesting ones where when I did my homework, and a lot of the Japanese flight sticks, they're basically just straight. So bit of customization there. In this case, the cockpit seats, they're pretty chunky. So I've just come in with a file, just really thinning it down. And I've drilled out what should be holes. I do tend to do a lot of research on the planes I build. Don't always get it right, but especially if it's something I'm really interested in, I do make the effort. Watch your fingers here. Mine are old and tough. If you're going to do it this way, really should be drilling down onto the bench. But I was trying to get some nice film or video, whatever you call it these days. I didn't like the chunky struts for the attachments for the cockpit seat, so I'll just chop them off, come back filing them out, and you'll see here where I'm using a file just to really, I guess, add some refinement to it. I've super glued, I think it's just very thin styrene strip, cutting them right. I do make the effort again to um, a bit of pre-planning on where I'm going to cut. Sometimes it's trying to make it work for the video. So you can see it, you get a much finer finish. And it does come up really nice. So I'm always questioning if I should really put in the effort to do this sometimes, especially on 172nd, but I enjoy it and it never hurts. More practice. So the cockpit comes together. I do have to say these newer Airfix kits are excellent in terms of fit and finish. No complaints at all from me. Like I say, I've got no issues with Airfix on the whole. I'm familiar with all the debates and so on that have been around on and off for years, but yeah, these newer ones they're excellent. You can't go wrong. So you can see how it's coming together there. I just come in here, normal airbrushing. I think it was Mitsubishi cockpit green. I'm using Mr. Color as always. I do prefer the lacquer. The engine wasn't great detail, but again, you're not going to see most of it. So what I've done here is I've added my own little finishing touch. I think it's the injection manifold that goes around. These are Saki, I think 900 bhp engines. And this is an early model Zero. So we're talking Pearl Harbor Midway. I think it's a Type 21. So here I am just measuring things out. Originally, I did try and I think glue it on the engine itself. That didn't really work as well as I hoped. So I've come back and I made the ring external to the engine. There, I wasn't cutting anything. I was actually cheating and using my side cutters just to clamp it together. And again, that's come from me snooping about the internet and doing a bit of research on how these go together. This was pretty finicky and definitely not perfect, especially at that size. You can see we're talking some small stuff. This is just one of those ones I've learned over the years. It was where the molding attachment, whatever you call that one, comes through. So if you don't clean it up, it will show through on your paintwork. So I use a bit of super glue, let that set, and it sands really nice. You never notice it. That's that Sake engine. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. Someone Japanese will be able to correct me on that. So you can see it really does come together very nicely. The usual scraping and sanding and cleanup here, typical stuff. I think this is probably 600, 400. I've gone through sandpaper in other videos, but again, no great surprises. Don't go too rough if you're new to this because it'll take you ages to fix it up. Uh, I'm not sure quite what these are. Someone can let me know in the comments. I guess they're some sort of, I was thinking stabilizers, but I think they're actually the struts for the flaps, or at least an indication of them in this scale. I did a fair bit of research on paint. As much as I say I don't get hung up on paint, occasionally I do, and that's why I'm always wary of it. I essentially come up with my own mix here. It's hemp and bit of brown, bit of yellow, and so on. What I'm doing here, rather than decals, I've used a circle cutter, bits of tape, my crazy masking, and doing the roundels painted. You do get a far, far better finish. Just one of the tips that I've learnt over the years is to do a light coat first. Obviously, if you're using acrylics, you have to do it that way. But even with the lacquers, in this case, Tamiya and so on, I always do a light coat and it sort of seals the edges. It'll stop bleeding. The biggest problem I have doing it this way is getting it lined up. So you can see I'm just doing very light coat. Make sure that's dry. Then it effectively seals it. And there's my experiments with color. I was quite happy with how the color come out. One of the interesting things, and it's weird for some reason, Mr. Color to me are, at least the Japanese manufacturers, I couldn't find anyone that just makes that, I don't know what it's even called. It's like a cream, I don't know, a zero hempish sort of color. That was me doing all of the markings, or the red in this case, just masked out, painted. So at this point, I'm actually really happy with how that's come out. And my desk was getting crazy by that point. As I said, I was messing around with paints and mixers and so on. It's a bit hard sometimes to get the camera or to hold it for the camera. Decals I haven't really gone into much, but it's the usual methods, I suppose. So yeah, these are really nice little planes. I would definitely do it again. There's the final cockpit result. You can see that's come up nice at that sort of scale. The cowling, I think I've just used Mr. Color cowling color. Not perfect, but as I say, pretty happy with that one. Hope you enjoy it. Have fun, stay safe, leave a comment. Thanks again.